Hi, so today's video is going to be my new baby parrot's name reveal and tips on bringing home your baby parrot. So I have chosen a name and I want to thank you all for all the beautiful, wonderful name suggestions on my new baby parrot. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Donna and this is my newest baby parrot. He's an Australian King Parrot. What's up, buddy? Yay! So I got tons and tons of suggestions. A lot of them were really nice names. But I really like the name King, but I just wanted 2 syllables. So someone mentioned the name Kingsley. And I thought, oh yes, I love the name Kingsley. So that's his name is Kingsley. So I forget your name, sorry, whoever suggested the name Kingsley. So I want to thank you so much. I appreciate that. And when I saw the name, I just knew that was going to be his name, but I kept reading all the other names and I kept coming back to Kingsley. So this is Kingsley. So today's video was the name reveal of my new parrot, and I wanted to give you some tips on bringing home your baby parrot. Alright, so the first thing you want to do when you're picking up your new parrot is make sure you have everything ready. Make sure you have the right appropriate size cage and the appropriate size bar spacing for the type of bird you're going to be bringing home. And you want to have some shredding, like chewing toys, some interactive toys, and foraging toys. Also, you want to have several perches of different textures and different diameters. You want to have, thinner ones, thicker ones, but the ones that are appropriate for your bird for the size of the feet. And you want to have a play stand, food and water bowls, and have the food ready. Have the dry food that you're going to be feeding your baby parrot. The pellets or seeds, whatever the baby's going to need. And you want to ask wherever the place you're getting your bird from, what your bird was eating previously. And when you go pick up your bird, you can get a sample of that food and switch it over to what you're going to feed. And you can also make chop ahead of time. You can make it in batches, put it in the freezer, and then when your baby bird comes home, you can defrost it, and your baby bird can be ready to eat the chop. So when you pick up your baby parrot, you want to find out where the food bowls and water bowls were placed. Were they placed at the bottom of the cage? Usually baby birds, they're a little bit clumsy, so they usually eat off the bottom of the cage, in a bowl, and of course in a bowl. And some baby parrots are used to drinking from water, what do you call those, water bottles. So you want to find out how the bird was eating so that you can do the same when you get home, and then you can slowly change it to how you're going to feed the bird. For instance, if the baby parrot's used to eating off the floor of the cage, in a bowl, not off the floor, but you know what I mean. So you want to be able to do the same, because when you bring your baby home, he'll have no idea the food's going to be up higher, right? Or the water, or if you're going to use a bowl instead of a bottle, you want to make sure they know how to use both. You can put a bottle and a container of water in there to make sure they know where the bowls are and what they're going to eat out of, and then you can eliminate the ones that you don't want to be using later on, right? So when you pick up your baby parrot, ask a lot of questions and ask if there's anything specific of what your bird requires, especially in his diet, because not all birds are the same. Some birds require, a lot of nuts, some shouldn't have nuts, some like this, some should have grassy, some shouldn't have pellets, some should have seeds, it goes on and on and on, right? All birds need fresh foods, of course, but, lorikeets eat differently, keats eat differently, parrots, the hyacinth macaws, they require a high fatty, like nuts in their diet. So always know what your bird should eat, and, just ask anything you can. Ask if there's anything different about this species. So you want to ask a lot of questions before you bring your bird home. That way, when you get home, you don't say, oh, what am I going to do about this? Or I don't know about this, or what should I do? You want to ask first so that you're knowledgeable when you bring your baby bird home. And when you bring your baby bird home, try to bring someone with you, like a driver, because you want to be able to talk to your bird and maybe sit in the back seat with your bird and talk to him and everything. He's going to be scared. He's going to be going into a carrier, going in the car for the first time and seeing, strange faces. You want your baby bird to know you right away. Don't ignore him. That's the most scariest thing. So you want to talk. Don't take him out of the cage or anything like that, or the carrier, because it's flop around in the car. That's not a good idea. Keep him confined and safe. Put a seatbelt around the carrier cage, and that way you'll be safe until you get home. Are you nibbling? So something you want to consider before bringing home a new baby parrot is quarantine. Like if you already have other birds, you have to quarantine your new bird. If you don't have other birds, then quarantine is not an issue. But there's a lot of information about quarantine your birds here on YouTube. I don't have a video yet, but I will make one in the future. Quarantine, is not as simple as quarantine, and there's a lot to learn about quarantine. But look it up, and you can do research, and that way you'll know and you'll be aware when you bring your baby bird home. So that's another thing you want to worry about when you bring your baby bird home, because you want to keep your new bird safe and your current bird safe as well, because you don't want them to get sick. And it really depends on where you got your bird from as well. But then again, the quarantine, it would be a new video because there's a lot to talk about. I would like to tell you about quarantine. But in the meantime, research it, and then you'll know what to do. So the next thing I recommend you doing is bringing your new bird to a qualified avian vet for a wellness check, and to do a blood test for viral testing. That way you'll know if your bird has a viral disease or not. And you can speak to your vet, you do a wellness check, and get a base, and you can get to know your vet, because you should always have hey, you're making a mess. You should always have an avian vet, right, in a relationship with your avian vet. Because if your bird gets sick all of a sudden and you never saw a vet yet, they're not going to take you. They might if they can, but if they know you really good, hopefully they'll say, sure, I know you, come on in, whatever. But you have to build up a relationship with your avian vet, and you want to make sure your bird is healthy. And when you take your bird to the vet, they should do a fecal test, like the poop test, and they can, here we go, sir. They can check for any, any bugs in there or anything, any parasites in the poop, right? Because that's, two ways you can know your bird is healthy or not, and you can get them treated for it. You want another treat, sweetie? Here's a pumpkin seed. Here we go. You want that? Okay. Yes, so an avian vet is a really good thing to do for your new baby parrot. So once you get your baby parrot home, I recommend you handle them right away. You bring them home, you can show them the cage, the play stand, the toys, where the food is, the water is, and handle them. Talk to him. Some people believe in just bringing home your bird, just putting it in the cage and ignoring him, just leaving him, just go to feed him, don't talk to him, don't give an eye contact. I don't know why anybody would even say that. That's the cruelest thing to do, especially if it's a hand-fed baby bird. They're used to human contact. They've been used to being handled and cuddled, and they're a baby, and they need you. They need, human, right? They're just a baby. You can't just ignore them. The baby will get depressed. It will cry out. It won't eat. It won't drink. So you do seriously have to handle your baby every day, and you have to make sure you give it cage time as well. You can't just get the baby and keep it out of the cage 24 hours a day and coddle it. You don't want to coddle your baby. You have to, put it in the cage and let it get used to the cage, let it entertain itself, because you're not going to be home every day the rest of the bird's life, right? If you got a job, you go away, you go shopping, you go this, you're going to make sure your bird is okay to go into the cage and keep itself entertained, with the toys, foraging toys, or eating. But you want to start off on the right wing with your bird, right? You don't want to ignore your bird. If you do have other birds, you gotta, research the quarantine thing is the way you do it. You want to handle maybe your new bird first or last. Just make sure you wash your hands, change your clothes. But anyway, that's a different video, right? But you can research that. So please don't ignore your new baby bird. It's the worst thing you can do. And just think how the baby bird would feel going into a new home, new people, new setup, new cage, and then you walk away and leave it. Just think about that. It's like bringing home a puppy or a kitten or a child. Would you do that? No, I don't think you would. And also, if you don't handle them right away, sometimes the baby will regress into a wild state. Certain species of birds do that. Like a lovebird could do that, budgies or cockatiels, like several birds, even the ringneck. If you don't handle them every day and they were used to it, they're not going to even want to interact with you or anybody, because you've left them alone to just be a bird and just eat and drink and that's it. You don't want to just shove it in the cage and be the end of it. You don't get a bird just to be like an ornament and forget about it, right? When you take a new baby parrot home, sometimes they won't eat. You have to make sure that they're eating. And one way to tell is obviously, check the food, watch your bird. Oh, look at you stretching. Nice, eh? Sorry, I got distracted. Beautiful feathers. Don't you go anywhere. You stay right here. You can weigh your bird. You got to use the gram scale. You can get a scale that's got a perch on it already, like a bird scale. Or what I do is I have a gram scale. I had a lightweight perch with the platform on it. I put on the scale and I weigh my birds. You weigh them first when you get home, and you want to weigh them at the same time, like in the morning, maybe before they eat. Because if you weigh them different times of the day, they'll weigh more after they eat. They're going to weigh more in the evening and less in the morning. So I suggest you weigh them in the morning before they eat. And if they lose some grams, sometimes that's normal. They will lose a few grams, which is normal. But if they keep losing weight, that means they're not eating. So you want to make sure that they're eating. And what I did with my little guy, or big guy, I would put his bowl of food on the table with me on a perch, and I, would give it to him with my hand. He still was on hand feeding, so I was hand feeding him once or twice a day. But I would put the chop that I had in my hand, or a berry, a carrot, beetroot, whatever I had to feed him, I was giving it to him, handing it to him in my hand to make sure he was tasting everything and was eating stuff. And I found that he really loves the snap peas. He really likes those. At first he couldn't open them, but then he can open them now. But you want to, maybe eat with them, have them with you. He can eat. Make sure he's drinking. You can hold the bowl of water so they take a drink, because that's very important that they're drinking. So you want to keep track of their weight. They should be gaining until they reach their ideal weight. Baby birds grow fast. And just because they look full grown doesn't mean they are. They fill out, right? They fill out and get a little bit heavier. Like when I got him, he was 165 grams, and he was gaining 1 or 2 grams a day. He's supposed to maybe go up to 250 grams when he's full grown. I mean, he looks full grown, but he's not. So please just weigh your bird. That's the best way. Make sure he's eating. Give fresh food every day and fresh water. Change the water as often as you can, especially if they put food into it, right? Don't eat my fingers. So you want to continue talking to your bird and start training your bird right away. I recommend target training. It's a great way to get your bird to move, to perch, to go in the cage, come out of the cage, or anything like that. And you can train your bird to do the recall, like to fly to you and go back to the perch. He's already flying to me, and I love it. There's nothing more rewarding than a bird coming to you, flying to you, landing on you. It's an amazing feeling. And there's a wonderful channel out there, if you haven't heard of them already. It's called Bird Tricks. You go check out their channel if you haven't already. They have a training channel like for birds, and you can learn a lot from them. They do a lot of target training and recall, free flight their birds, and I love their channel. I've learned a lot from them and use their methods with my birds, and hoping to have a nice bird, right? But you want to research all the time and just keep learning and researching so you can give your bird a nice life. And yeah, the recall is the best thing, right? And the step up, you got to teach the step up. Use food rewards. You can use a small piece of almond or a walnut or a sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, whatever they like. Just don't put the treats that you use for training, don't put them in the cage, because they won't see it as a treat. You want to use that for special occasions, right? For training. If you got a smaller bird like a cockatiel or budgie, they love millet. And just don't put the millet in the cage. Use it only for training. And you can hold it up and they'll come to you, right, for the step up or to fly to you. It's the best thing in the world to feel the bird come to you. Look at the mess you're making, right? And enjoy your company. Right, buddy? So when you're training your bird, keep the sessions short and always leave on a positive note, right? And then you can continue next time. If the bird is happy, you leave on a positive note, it's going to look forward for the next training session. You know, when they're babies, right? They got a little bit short attention span. But to keep the sessions short, if you go on and on and on, they're just not going to want to do anything. Keep them short and nice, and you'll be able to tell when they've had enough. Right, but I would say just, you know, a few minutes here, you can do a couple recalls, step up, you can teach them to wave, turn around, spin, whatever. The sky's the limit, right? So you can have fun with your bird. Always do something with your bird just to make his life very interesting instead of just sitting in the cage all day. That's not very much fun, right? And remember, baby birds sleep a lot. They need a lot of sleep, just like, you know, human babies or puppies or kittens. They need a lot of sleep. So let them sleep. You want a pumpkin seed? Here we go. I have to hold it for him. Right here. There we go. Yeah, so they do need sleep. He sleeps quite a bit. So, you know, I take him out in the morning, do his training, and then he goes in his cage. He does whatever he wants to do, you know, eat, play, or whatever. And he has a nap. And once he wakes up, you can play with them again, right? But you don't want to play with them for hours and hours on end and make them really tired. And they need to sleep, you know, quite a bit when they're babies. Another tip I want to mention is a routine with your birds. I recommend don't do any routine, okay? If you do routine, the birds are going to be kind of, you know, stressed out and demand when they eat and demand when they want out and how much time and all that. It's best to change everything from the beginning. You want to give your bird a lot of change, like giving them a new toy so they're not afraid and scream at the toy and be afraid, or, you know, if you hang a new picture on the wall, if you get new furniture, if you paint your nails, you cut your hair, you want your bird to get used to everything. You can feed them at different times in the morning and at night, but they do need their sleep. They need a lot of sleep, you know, at nighttime, but you don't necessarily have to make them sleep right at 8 o'clock or right at 8:30, right at 9. You can vary the times so that they're not, you're making a mess. So they're not afraid of change, right? Because a bird, you know, can live a long time. You want your bird used to change, and you want them used to a lot of people. You want to socialize your bird. You want your bird to get used to move in the cage, move in the play stand. So if you have a cage, you have where you want to put it, right? Move it around. Put it over there, put it over here, in the middle of the cage or on the wall, right? Yeah. And the play stand, move it around. Show your bird all the rest of your house in different rooms, your bedroom and your family room and all over. And if you have a play stand, don't just leave it in one spot, move it around. So you want your bird used to change, which is going to be much better for a bird, to be healthy for him and less stressful. I've seen comments where people say their birds are afraid of new toys, won't go near them. It's because they weren't used to it when they're babies, right? You have to just do it, change it around. Like every day I'll touch his toys, I'll move them to a different spot, and he doesn't care. Do you? You don't care. Yeah, so I want him to be a well-adjusted bird, and just like you should have your bird, right? You want him to, you know, be a nice overall rounded bird, right? So just don't stick to a routine. It's best for your bird not to have a routine. And so if you have any tips, anything that I missed, or anything you want to add, put it down below in the comments. I would like to see, and everybody else would like to see as well. Any tips that you used to welcome your new bird home and to make them a overall well-adjusted parrot, let me know. I'm curious to see, because I'm sure I probably missed something, right? I mean, I can talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about birds, but this video is already long enough. Anyways, check me out on Instagram and Facebook. You'll see other videos of him and my other birds and my other pets that I don't post on YouTube. And check out my link to my Amazon store. I place all the products that I use for my pets that I use and that I recommend for you. The link is down below in the description. And yes. And if you do purchase something on my Amazon store, I do make a small commission. And the commission that I make goes right back into my birds or my pets. And I want to thank you very much for supporting me and my channel. Look at this. Beautiful. He's stretching now because he's tired. He does this before he goes to bed. He stretches and stretches, and then he getting sleepy. and then he goes to sleep. Right? You want to go nappies? Do you want to give me a kiss? Do you want to say bye to everybody? Say bye, Kingsley. Kingsley. When I call his name, he always chirps. I think he needs some. You want some food? Baby food? No, you get baby food at nighttime, right? Okay, we'll give you some chop. You want chop? Chop? Yeah? Alright, he wants some chop. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. And Kingsley says bye. Say here. Say bye-bye. Bye. We'll see you next time. Wave? I'm teaching him, by the way, to wave, so maybe that'll begin the next video. You want to wave to everybody? Oh, kind of you did. Alright. Bye. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.